Good morning. Welcome to Planet Mojo. Today is Sunday on Memorial Day weekend, and I need to get down into the vineyard and prune and spray. I have my little tool belt here, my Felco pruners, and some rubber ties. Oh, and I also have some Protect ties. These are biodegradable. And I believe that's all I need. Scissors as well. Then once I'm done pruning, I gotta spray Mancozeb, which is here. I need to get everything for the second spray. We've had so much rain that they're going to be the vines will be very vulnerable to disease this spring if I don't. They're supposed to be sprayed at 1.5 inch, 5 inch, and 10 inch, according to the label on Mancozeb. My spray schedule that I got from the Grape Growers Co-op is slightly different, but this year I'm going to try the Mancozeb schedule, which has a little different spray schedule, but I think it'll do me a lot better with all the dampness we've had. It's going to start raining again tomorrow, and this stuff will make it through part of the rain, but what you're really doing is killing the disease that's on the leaves now before it can combine with the rain and spread and or infect the vines. Some of it'll stick, some of it'll wash off, but it doesn't matter. Just because it's going to wash off does not mean you should not spray. So I better get to that. As far as the pruning goes, all I'm doing is I'm going to take a quick run through the vineyard, and I'm going to rub off all of the little buds that are along the trunk of the vine or in areas where they shouldn't be. And I'm going to prune off the ends of a lot of the spurs, either prune off or rub off, so that I'm down to 3 shoots on each spur. Natalie just brought out Izzy, our puppy. One hell of a good dog. Love that dog. Okay, I think I got everything I need. I'm going to head down to the vineyard. Okay, I'm down in the vineyard, and I got my belt on with these are the Protect ties, which are biodegradable. Rubber ones, which I bought in bulk, a big skein, I think they call it. And I had my daughter cut them for me, and they range anywhere from 4 inches, which is unusable, to 6 to 9 inches, which is what they need to be. So some of these are junk. Okay, I think that's, and scissors. And that should do it in my pruner. I need to get through here and do this as fast as humanly possible because I missed an entire sunny day yesterday with vertigo. I actually have it right now too, but I got to get this done. I got to get back down here and spray all this new stuff that's coming up, everything that's green in here. And I got to do the same in a bunch of other areas as well. So I really got to get a lot done today. What I'm doing right now is thinning these spurs so that they only have 3 shoots on each. This is a secondary shoot, so I'm just going to rub that off. I don't want any secondaries growing right now. Hopefully this doesn't come back to bite me in the ass. If we get a frost, then I have no backup. This one is a non-count. I'm going to get rid of that. There's actually 2 there. So now I have 1, 2, 3, and that's all I want. And I want them about 6 inches apart, which I can't do anything about right now. I also have little bud coming out right here. I'm gonna rub that off. See, this is a nice big healthy one. 1, 2, 3. That one's okay. This one is kind of hard to see. I'll be able to see that better from the other side. Oh, I should just look over there. Okay, that one has a couple secondaries that I just took off. I do not want a bunch of secondary shoots. Each one of these can have a secondary and a tertiary shoot. So you can get up to 3 shoots per bud. And if you just let them go, that's just going to make a giant mess in the vineyard. And the secondary and tertiary shoots are not as fruitful as the primary. That is a primary right there. You got a little grape clusters there already. So on the trunk, this will be a spur right here. So I'm going to leave that alone. It only has 2 shoots on it. I need a renewal spur down here, so it's going to be one of these. Got an extra one here and got 3 going on here. So just, 4. I will just remove that. So this one right here will be the renewal spur. Once that gets out here, so I'm just going to cut it off as long as I have the buds for next year. That's all I want. And same thing, this will be my renewal spur. And then I got one here, and then I check up and down the trunk to see if I got spurs there, and I look at the ground to see if I have any shoots coming up out of the ground. If I don't need a renewal trunk, I get rid of the spurs coming up from the ground. So on this, we got 1, 2, 3, and then we got one coming out over on the side here. And then on this, we got one coming out each side, and an extra bud right there. And then we got a bud here, which I'll take off, and then we got 2 here. So 1, 2, 3. This, let me get rid of this for a second. This right here is a secondary. So I'm going to take it at a tertiary as well, which means 3, a third one. Just get rid of a little length on that and get rid of this. So it's pretty much this throughout the entire vineyard. This is a secondary. Get rid of that. So we got a non-count bud going right here, and then 1, 2, 3. So I'll get rid of the non-count. If I don't have 3 and I have a non-count there, then I will keep the non-count. Okay. So I got to do that to 100 and some odd vines, and I got to do it pretty quick. So let me set this camera up and get working. Okay, that wraps up the shoot thinning. I have a couple dead vines in here. Either they're dead or real close to it. There's no buds on a couple of these. I believe they're dead. And we have some slow ones. That front row down towards the end. Well, actually, this row too, down towards this corner here, has always had problems. It might be related to that walnut tree there, the juglone from the roots. I cut that down 4 years ago, but it wasn't fully dead until last year, so the roots are still under here with their poison. So that might be what's doing it. Who knows? But I'll have to replant a couple, I'm thinking. And I had a couple of the little ones that were bitten off near the ground, but they're shooting back up. And let me see if I can find some of that. Yeah, all these little holes in here. That is from the grape flea beetle. And I saw a few of them, but I also saw the native ladybugs, so I'm not going to spray any insecticide. All the grape flea beetles do is cause a few holes, and it's only earlier in spring like this. See, this is what I was trying to get rid of. All the secondary shoots, and then make sure I had 2 or 3 shoots on each spur here. And 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I did everything from that side, so sometimes you miss. It's kind of hard seeing onto the other side, especially once they start getting a bunch of leaves like this. Yeah, you got to be real careful at this stage, because just pressing a little bit and this will snap off. It makes it real easy to thin things down, but it makes it dangerous for trying to position things. It's going to be a good while before stuff is sturdy enough to be bent into shape or bent into position. So that's it for step 1. Now I have a full tank of Mancozeb, which is a fungicide. I need to spray that. Well, I need to spray the entire vineyard plus the fruit trees and the grapevines up by the house. So that is generally 5 tankfuls, which is 15 gallons total. And what did this take? This took about 3 hours, I think. And the spraying will probably take 2 to 3 hours. So I better get at it. Okay, that's about it for down here. Took about 5 hours and 7 gallons of spray. Well, it took about 5 hours to prune and spray, and 7 gallons of spray. Now I got to get up to the upper vines, do the same thing to them. They need to be shoot thinned and sprayed. And I need to spray both of my apple trees and my cherry tree. Then I will be done with this stuff for today. After that, I need to spray glyphosate down here on this grass and weeds. If you've been following along, this is going to get dozed shortly, and you don't want grass growing when you're dozing. So I got to pull that line of fence, and we're going to put a nice tapered ditch here instead of this thing. and get rid of this and then plant bluegrass here. Or plant something, I don't know. It'll probably be bluegrass. We want to maintain the headland here so we can take a tractor up and down the aisles here. I hope to not be spraying like this next year. I hope to have a sprayer set up so I can just drive up and down the aisles. This just takes way too much time. So I'm going to get up to the upper part and get that stuff done.